Daniel here for Tabletop for One, and my first impressions after 4 plays of Life of the Amazonia. And I thank you for joining me tonight. Now, Life of the Amazonia is designed by Jamie Bloom, and it's published by Bad Comet, and Bad Comet actually gave me this review copy to provide a tutorial solo playthrough video. And so after 4 plays, I want to give you my opinions about the game. Now, the production quality of Life of the Amazonia is of a big concern for me. See, this is the base production quality, and they use an incredibly thin cardboard that leads to very easily damaged components. See, the problem is you have to assemble a lot of things. You have this waterfall you have to assemble, you have these boats that you have to assemble, and you'll see right here that in assembling this boat, this cardboard had split off completely. The boat themselves are not too easy to assemble, as well as the trees. The trees, you have to put 2 trees together in a crisscross pattern, and when I was pushing those together, because it was such a tight fit, it bent some of those trees. So like probably a third of my trees were bent because of that, because the cardboard is just so thin. So I'm very concerned about that. And on top of that, that means that the tokens are very thin. And so when you put them in the bag, the tokens stick together and you can't even tell that half the time. So sometimes you draw more tokens than you need to. And so yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in the cardboard quality. Now the meeples themselves are fantastic. They have screen printed meeples of the different animals, and it has nice graphics. It's easy to tell what they are and everything like that. But I almost wonder if I would have preferred the money that was put into the screen printing of those meeples would have been better put into thicker cardboard. Now, I think those of you who got the deluxe edition probably enjoy the game a whole lot more with the wooden tokens and the better components, but with the cardboard components here, it's just lacking. Now, I will say that the graphic design and art is fantastic in this game. The graphic design is clear, conveys the information very clearly, and any information that isn't conveyed as clear as needed to be, it's explained on the cards, and so that's just fantastic. And so let's go on to talk about the gameplay. Now in Life of the Amazonia, you are trying to build out this rainforest and bring animals into the rainforest. And you do this by this bag building. You draw 5 tokens from the bag, and the tokens give you money or leaves or water or different materials that you need in order to accomplish different actions. And you get a whole variety of actions. You can buy new tokens and add those to your discard pile, which later get added to your bag, which will help your draws be more powerful. You can use your tokens to bring in animals into your rainforest, and the animals are going to score the vast majority of points. And so you'll place those in various ways that help with their bonuses that give you those points. You can also use your tokens to add new tiles to your habitats. You can use your tokens to build trees, to put water flowers out on the water, to expand your inventory, to buy cards. There's one-time use cards. There's also cards for endgame scoring. So there's a lot of different ways you can use your tokens, a lot of different actions during the turn, and sky's the limit as long as you have resources to spend. Now the goal of the game is to beat out a scenario, and there are a variety of scenarios in the back of the book, and so you choose one of the scenarios. It tells you which kind of animals you're going to use for the game, and then it tells you the target goals, bronze, silver, and gold, that you're trying to meet for that game. On top of that, you have a blocking AI, and so you have this little grid that after every turn you move the token along the grid, and if it's an AI's turn, it'll draw a token from the bag, which will remove some animals, which will remove some cards, and will compete with you on some of the tracks for the trees and the flowers. Now, as far as ease of solo play, there is quite a bit to learn to this game, especially with all those actions that you can do on your turn, but after a play or two, it's really easy to get into it, and it becomes really apparent what you can do with those actions, because everything revolves around those tokens. So depending on the tokens that you draw, it's going to tell you what actions you can do, and it's really straightforward at that point. And the nice thing is that they have, good player aids that'll show you exactly, what some of the icons mean, as well as what you can do on your turn. And the AI is super easy to implement. Like I said before, you're going to be drawing a token, removing some animals and cards, and moving it along the track, but that's pretty much it. Now, as far as being good at this game, that's a little bit more on the difficult side. I don't score that high. I haven't broken 100 points on that first scenario. I've tried multiple times now, and man, I think my closest is like 96. It is not easy to maximize your actions. You have to be really good at figuring out how to best build your bag and then utilize those actions to get everything you want done. And it's not easy. And I do want to say that there are a lot of different animal cards, so there's a lot to learn as far as their scoring opportunities go, but the information is so clear on the cards that it leaves little to the question. So it's just a matter of knowing in each scenario that you're playing what those scoring opportunities are and trying to translate that into how best to approach that scenario and score as well as you can. Now, as far as replayability goes, there's lots of scenarios to play, and you're going to end up playing them multiple times to try and score better than before. So yeah, you're going to get multiple plays out of each scenario, and so that's dozens of plays out of the game if you go through all the scenarios. So there's a lot to play. There's lots of different animals. The unique animal that you get each time you play provides different ways to play the game. So yeah, there's a lot of replayability in this box. All right, so do I recommend the game? Yes and no. I'm kind of mixed on that. The thing is, I really like the gameplay. I really do. I love the gameplay, but it's marred by this production quality. I really take issue with the thin cardboard. And the fact that in trying to put together those trees, I damaged those trees. And some of the other components like the waterfall and the silo bins for the different tokens, I bent some of those as well. And so I'm really having a problem with that. And I think the cost of the game is upwards of $60 or $70. And so with those cardboard issues, I really, really have a problem with that. And so I don't necessarily recommend it at that cost. Now, if you're able to get the deluxe edition for a decent price, I highly recommend that, because I kind of wish I had the deluxe edition. I think I would definitely rate this a little bit better, but based on the basic edition, I'm just not sure about it. I'm really not. I just know going into it that you have very flimsy cardboard components. But if you're okay with that, then I think you'll like this game, especially if you like games like Cascadia or games where you're trying to maximize your turns, doing as much as you can in a limited number of turns, because you only get 20 turns in this game. Then I think you'll like that. But like I said, just be aware of the cardboard components. It's a huge disappointment to me. And so there you have it. That was my first impressions after 4 plays of Life of the Amazonia, designed by Jamie Bloom and published by Bad Comet. Do bear in mind that I did receive this as a review copy, so take that into consideration when you consider my opinion of the game. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this game if you already own it. Please also like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content you see here, and I thank you very much for joining me on Tabletop for One. Have a great night.